I think the case should go to somebody outside of Fulton County, somebody who does not have an ongoing professional relationship with Judge Glanville and with the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. I think they need to bring a judge in from outside the county to hear the motion to recuse.
Trial. Now, think about it. She's only been involved in this case for barely a day, but so much happened within that day that she was involved in the case, whether it be her getting fired by Lil Woody or her being involved in this ex parte meeting. But she recently started a YouTube video, and I was there in the chat and able to see her first live stream that she did a few days ago. I believe it was over the weekend or Friday night. But anyway, so she had a lot of people come up to her channel. She had a popular YouTuber that came up and was talking about some of the things going on in the case. She had Lil Woody even came up, which we're going to talk about and listen to what he had to say about the trial as well. And then she even had the person who brought her into the case, John Melnick, come up and talk about the whole situation and everything that went on with her even having to go to court in the first place. Now, I do want to say, with this being an ongoing case, I am very surprised and shocked at how open everybody is being about what's happening during this case, what's going on in the meeting. You even had, I believe it was AV, had Yak Gotti's lawyer on her live stream as well, and he was talking about some of the things that were going on. So it's very interesting to see the age that we're in, to where everybody can get a camera, they can go on the live stream and have 30,000 people watching and hearing what they're saying. I'll be interested to see how the state handles this, because a lot of information about this case is getting out. Obviously nothing that's going to damage the reputation or, you know, be harmful to the case. But I think it's a fine line that they're walking when it comes to having conversations about this case. Either way, y'all let me know what you think about that in the comments. We're going to go ahead and check out this first segment of this live stream where Kayla brings up John Melnick. Now, if y'all don't remember who John Melnick was, he was Lil Woody's original attorney. He wasn't able to be there for Lil Woody on that Friday. I want to say it was June. It was either June 8th or June 7th, I believe, was the Friday that he was arrested and held in contempt, because John Melnick wasn't able to be there because he had some non-refundable tickets. He was out of state. So then he called Kayla in, and the state said, hey, we're going to call Woody up and we're going to ask him if he wants to testify. John Melnick said, no, please don't do that. I'm not there. I'm not going to be able to properly represent him. So then Kayla comes in. Little Woody, he pleads the fifth. He says, they say you can't plead the fifth because you have immunity, and now he's in jail, right? So ever since then, Kayla was the one who was involved in this, but John Melnick was the initial representative for Lil Woody. So Kayla's going to bring him up, and he's going to talk a little bit about some of the things that happened behind the scene that may have not been covered or brought up by the state and weren't mentioned in the transcript as well. All right, so y'all check this out.
We got, it's who everybody wants to know. Where is, look who we got, guys. Everybody put a green heart in the chat for Melnick. Come on, he's not gonna talk.
How you doing, Kayla?
Hearts. How you doing?
I'm great. How about you?
Doing good.
Great.
Look at all the green hearts you're getting.
Great. All right. Well, what do you want to know? What does everybody want to know?
What does everybody want to know? Okay. So, Melnick, can you first tell everybody that you do not hate me?
Of course not. Absolutely not. You were doing me a huge favor.
Okay, everybody's been asking about stand-in attorneys, and a lot of people have been giving me pushback and saying that in the transcript that I did not stand up for Woody, and I did not say anything, and I let the state badger him, and I did not protect his rights. And I have been telling them that I didn't have a duty to Simone or Adrian, and that I allowed them to do what they wanted to do. And off the record, I talked to our client, which would not.
Okay, so just to give y'all a little bit of background again on this. So Kayla was brought in at the last minute. She didn't know anything about the case. And if y'all go back and watch the videos where we reviewed the transcript from that secret meeting, she makes it well aware that she has no idea what's going on. She's unfamiliar with the case. And I'm surprised to hear her say that people are saying she didn't stand up for Woody or didn't defend him. I personally wasn't seeing that when it came to the transcript. It seems like she asked some great questions. She had a lot of insight for Woody when it comes to making sure he understood and knew what his rights were. But she was in a terrible situation. And whether you want to blame John Melnick or not, I mean, she did volunteer and say that she would go, obviously, because she has a good relationship with him. So I'm not seeing that as much, but we'll keep letting her go.
Or Adrian, and that I allowed them to do what they wanted to do. And off the record, I talked to our client, which would not be in the transcript.
Right.
But could you explain to them what a stand-in attorney is and what's the role of a stand-in attorney?
Well, essentially, you were filling my role in this case. I had represented Kenneth for a while, and when the state surprisingly was intending to call him as a witness without speaking with me beforehand, I
it's crazy.
Notified them that Kenneth didn't want to testify. We had a hearing in front of Judge Glanville. Glanville said we were going to reconvene the hearing on Monday. Well, that Monday, June the 10th, was not a good day for me because I had plans to go out of town. So I called you and I said, please help me out here. Just come to court. All Kenneth wants to do is take the fifth, and then all this happened.
So there's a lot there as well. So basically, Melnick, he has to be accountable for the fact that he did not file his time with the court. Now, he had filed, apparently, or allegedly, I should say, he had filed that he was going to be on leave or that he wasn't going to be available with another court, but he did not let Judge Glanville know specifically that he was going to be gone. So whether you wanted to say the prosecution took advantage of the situation or not, the fact is that John did not let them know well enough in advance that he was going to be gone. Now, he had filed something else with another court in December saying, hey, y'all, I'm going to be out of there. But he did not inform specifically Judge Glanville that he was going to be missing. Now, could they have shown some grace? Could they have maybe moved to another witness? Could they have gone to a different type of questioning? Possibly, yeah, but it's still on John to make sure he had someone there, which is why he then brought in Kayla Bumpus. All right, and there's where we go in the story.
Okay, and then another thing people have been just bashing me about is if Melnick was there, he would have never let this meeting go on.
Well, and I mean, this is a first of its kind type of thing that I've ever seen anywhere. So I don't know that any lawyer has enough experience or knowledge or know-how to deal with these types of issues that you were presented with that day, something that I never would have anticipated. I certainly anticipated that the state was going to try to get Kenneth to testify. But I never would have anticipated that you would have been summoned into a courtroom in front of a judge with a court reporter and several deputies and both prosecuting attorneys or all the prosecuting attorneys, and that this would have happened. Never.
Yeah, and I get John's probably trying to defend her. I was just, if you had been in I would just assume that if you had been in so many of these types of meetings, you would know if the defense is there, something's not right. So again, did Kayla do her best in this situation and not bring that up and not mention it? I don't know. She already mentioned before in the past, and we've reviewed interviews from her to where she said the judge didn't say that this was a secret meeting, that we weren't supposed to let anybody know about this meeting from the meeting. So in the transcripts, they don't show anything about that too, which we're going to get into the transcripts in a second. So you guys will have to let me know what you think. Did Kayla do her best, and should she have spoke up and be like, hey, where's the defense at? Why are we meeting without them? Giving a little Woody a little bit more time. I don't know.
I've never heard of it happening before, and neither has anybody else.
Okay, so you don't have to answer this. I think we talked about this. You can say no. Okay, but this is what we're gonna do, Melnick. You got 3 questions I'm gonna ask you, right? So
okay.
One, you can plead the 5th on one. You can get forced immunity on one. And the 3rd one you gotta answer, okay?
All right, let's go.
Okay. Everybody wants to know, did you file the bar complaint on Adrian?
No, I have not.
Okay, well now you got 3 more. You still gotta go. Okay, so no bar complaint on Adrian. Okay, everybody wants to know, did you really send Adrian an email that says F you?
It's very misunderstood. Okay, I didn't
and we
just
read this
say
in the transcript.
F you. All right, here's the context. I had sent an email, and I'm not looking at the emails right now, so this is not verbatim. I had sent an email saying, Kenneth has always said that he didn't want to testify. You knew this, and you've created this situation. Miss Love sent me a response saying, whose interests are you looking out for? Are you looking out for Kenneth's interests, or are you looking out for the interests of Mr. Steele's client and Mr. Shart's client? Which is an implication that I'm doing anything that I'm trying to help out somebody else's client, that I don't have my own client's best interests at heart.
Yeah, that's a messed up thing to say.
Essentially the worst thing you could ever accuse an attorney, a criminal defense attorney, of doing. So I wrote her back and I said, if that's what you think that I'm doing, if you think I'm doing anything other than protecting Kenneth Copeland, then you can go F yourself. Those were my exact words.
Oh, Melnick was not having it.
I've ever used.
She deserved it. Don't apologize, man.
Anyway, but I did send the infamous email.
Okay, and so we just thank you so much for coming on here. What do you think is going to happen with this trial being on pause? Do you think that Judge Cross should recuse herself, or how do you feel about what's next?
Well, I think the case should go to somebody outside of Fulton County, somebody who does not have an ongoing professional relationship with Judge Glanville and with the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. I think they need to bring a judge in from outside the county to hear the motion to recuse.
Yeah, and we've talked about this as well. It's looking like that is already going to happen because Mr. Weinstein, Yat Gotti's lawyer, has already filed something saying, hey, I want everybody who is in Fulton County to recuse themselves from this case. So everyone that's a judge, they should just go ahead and say, I'm not even going to touch this. I'm not even going to touch this case. I'm not going to touch any of these motions to recuse because we're not going to have and be able to give a fair decision, which I think is the right thing to do. Whether they're going to do it, we have yet to be seen. And today is a big day because if you guys remember, we talked about Judge Krause issuing something to the state, or I should say to the court, and specifically to Judge Glanville, saying that there needed to be a response to all 3 recusals today. So we have until 5 p.m. today to find out what Judge Glanville's response is going to be to these 3 recusals trying to get him kicked off of the case. So it'll be interesting to see what happens because Mr. Weinstein doesn't even want Judge Krause, who is actually moving the conversation forward, to be on this case. He doesn't want her in there either. He wants everybody from Fulton County out. So we're going to see what happens here shortly.
Do you think that if this goes to the Fulton, if this trial were to go anywhere other than Fulton County, that these guys would get a fair trial?
Whew, that's a tough one. You mean Jeffrey Williams and everybody else? Would they get a fair trial if it were transferred out of Fulton County?
Yeah.
Whew. I'm trying to think of where cases, if there's ever been a change of venue out of Fulton County and where they've gone to. So if the case were to be transferred out of Fulton County, it would have to go to a county with comparable demographics. And one county that comes to mind that I think would have comparable demographics is Chatham County, which is Savannah. God,
don't send them to Savannah.
Would they get a fair trial in Savannah? I don't know. It's a really good question. It's really hard to say. I think they get a fair trial. Whether they get the outcome they want is a different story.
All right. Well, we know everybody. Attorney Melnick is preparing for a murder trial that's going out on Monday, so we can't take too much of his time. But we want to say thank you so much for coming on here. You are the missing piece to the whole story. Everybody's question is Melnick still in Alaska with the non-refundable ticket?
Alaska was beautiful, by the way.
Yeah, he was out there chilling, man. Nothing wrong with that.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Kayla. Take care.
Okay, good luck.
All right, so there it is, man. Shout out to Kayla doing her YouTube thing, and John Melnick coming up to clear some things up. I want to look at the bigger picture on this for a second. When it comes to attorneys and witnesses being able to go on YouTube and talk about these cases while they're ongoing, I mean, Lil Woody's a sworn witness, and y'all are going to see in a second. We're going to hear from Lil Woody when it comes to his thoughts on the entire transcript. But I just think if I were an attorney, I would say, hey, you don't need to be talking about this. I'm not going to talk about it while it's ongoing on YouTube. You shouldn't talk about it and be on YouTube talking about it. So I think I think Kayla is playing a very, very risky game when it comes to talking about this while the trial is ongoing. Same thing with Lil Woody. And Lil Woody actually started a YouTube channel. We're going to talk about it in a minute. But he started a YouTube channel as well. So that's the bigger picture amongst all of this. But as a content creator, y'all know I love it. I love being able to hear things directly from the source. And even in this case specifically, we got to hear right from Kayla. We got to hear right from John exactly what they're saying went on. Now, there's some things I'm going to call into question in a later video when it comes to some of the things Kayla said, because she's kind of starting to contradict herself, but we'll get into that in a minute. Either way, y'all let me know what you think. Is it looking like the case is going to be moved to another county? We're going to see what happens later on today, and I will keep you guys up to date to that. Do you think it's wise for someone who's actively involved and has an ongoing case to be speaking about these things on the YouTube channel? No, y'all, let's see what y'all say.